Pretend Mummy's gone to jail. She's gone. She's not here. It's just us. The 10-year plan imploded. Even my mum thought we might need grocery money. It was very foolish of me to think that he was protecting me. Bruno's projectile vomiting and crying. They didn't have the money to keep this show going.
So it was all calculated.
They did offer me to come back for half the money. Oh, let's just you over and fire you. If people want to get you, they're going to get you, one way or another. It was a cluster, they call it.
Do you regret saying it on air?
Nope, needed to be said. It was true. She was off with the fairies, and hey, yeah, she was not paying attention, and she wasn't putting in the big effort that she normally would put in, but that was the golden goose for her. She said, oh no, don't worry. I sent a witch to Kyle's house last night to exorcise the demon from his brain. And that did actually happen. A person did come to my house. It's very weird, actually. Even the accusations that are in court, it's just not a reality. I'm not going to go to jail for her. I was going into fatherhood when Jackie was actually going through her wild years. The pills, the boys.
Do you think that maybe there was someone getting into her head?
She had a different group of friends. I met Pip Edwards. I used to call them the woo-woo crew. So, you know, they're all about like looking fabulous and wearing crop tops, putting your crystals out when the moon's full. And I know that she dated a couple of blokes here and there that no one really knows about.
What about Gemma?
Well, that's complete bullshit.
Do you have any concerns that she may potentially relapse?
I always err on the side that there's something I don't know. If we died in a car accident, who'd look after the child? My gangster friends, or would I put him with Jackie? The whole thing still is baffling to me, really. It does make you think, is it me? You know, like I had a breakdown with my mother when I broken down the first marriage. Like, is there anything I could do better as a man to a woman? I did hear through one of the staff just before the blow up, which is a little clue that she.
Welcome to The Debrief, Daily Mail's new showbiz video podcast. I'm your host, Savannah Young, and each week I'll be sitting down with some of the biggest names in entertainment, social media, and pop culture to unpack the headlines, the rumours, and the stories everyone is talking about. You might notice this is not our usual studio, nor is this my usual microphone. We've been exclusively invited into Kyle Sandilands' brand new studio, giving him the chance to set the record straight. We spend time with the radio shock jock, and what he revealed surprised even us. From the salary sacrifice he says he was asked to take to stay on the air, to an unexpected health diagnosis that has forced him to rethink his future. In true Kyle fashion, he's not holding back. He also opens up about his relationship with Jackie O like never before, sharing for the first time his thoughts on the people around her, including her so-called bestie, Gemma O'Neill, and revealing the very real fears he has about Jackie's well-being and the possibility of a relapse. Here's The Debrief's exclusive interview with Kyle Sandilands. Kyle Sandilands, welcome to The Debrief, and thank you so much for having us in your studio.
Thank you. So we're in the middle of renovations here. You might have seen on your way in.
I did, yes.
There's local artists painting hand gold leaf thing on there, like Saddam Hussein's going to be set up here. But I decided to go with some local artists and electrician artists as well. So instead of just putting a big sticker on there like a signwriter would, we're keeping the art community alive as well. They tell me it's going to be fantastic.
It's nice. And yeah. I noticed all the frames that you've brought over as well with all the, platinum albums. That's things that have been sort of given over the years from different artists or record labels. There's stuff up here with Jackie and I from the early days as well. In nearly every room there's something. So we just collected over the 30-odd years. Yeah.
And a few people even said, should we take this one down with Jackie in it? And I was like, no, this is the new show is like an evolution. We don't have to pretend that never happened or bury that in the past. Like it is a lot of the same people from the last show. Actually, everyone that's on this show was on the last show as well.
Nice.
Oh, except for one new news person.
And Brooklyn was your newsreader at KISS. Is he still there?
He is still there, yeah. Everyone, so there's still, I think, Things there, Brooklyn's there, Nat's there. And the rest were made redundant, which I hired straight away before we even had this idea to do this show. And I don't know whether that was out of guilt or whether I'd thought already in my mind, I'm going to come up with something or something is going to happen. I just didn't want them losing all their, some were getting engaged, some people just had a baby. like people in the middle of their lives. This was someone's 10-year plan.
Yeah.
We were all 1 year into it, and it went upside down. So we've sort of refloated the ship, so to speak, and all the survivors have scampered back on, and we're sailing ahead into uncharted territory.
Well, it won't be too hard though, working with the people that you've worked with for quite a long time.
Yeah. If it was all new people that even had experience that I'd not worked with, it would be another whole learning for me to learn their personality, them to learn mine. This team of people that we've worked with for 10 years, even some that left, 2 or 3 years ago have come back into this new situation with extra skills, and they're running their own businesses, and it's just been great. Feels like the A-team's back together. Oh, except Mummy's not here.
Yeah.
Let's pretend Mummy's gone to jail.
Mum's in
still
radio
love
jail.
her, but she's in jail. She's gone. She's not here. It's just us.
So what can we expect? It's already out this week, Kyle Sandilands.
The live show will be August 10, but there's a few eps dropped of the documentary already. And God, because I didn't watch it before it went out, so I was like, oh, this feels heavy. But it was heavy. So it's sort of reflecting. We were the reason we were filming in the first place on that day was because prior to all of this implosion of the radio show, Amazon had come to us, or one of those streaming services from the US had come and said, we want to film like what your life would be like. The idol judge, the radio guy, the young dad, still we're traveling around, we're quite extravagant. And I was like, so my wife's not really into the show pony stuff.
Right.
So she doesn't really like she doesn't like the paps. She's not aggressive to him, but she's just like, doesn't like not into it. Where I'm fully into it. Like I'm like, hey, what's up? Hey guys. Hey, I'm over here. But she's very different. So Bruno, my manager, was like, let's just film a few things around the house to show to your wife, because that was going to be quite a big situation with that Amazon thing.
Yeah.
Or whoever it was. So we just happened to be filming around that time and had these little cameras set up. So we were lucky in a sense that we actually weren't able to turn something that was horrible and a real heavy, horrible time in my life into, let's spin this out here and show what really happened. There was a lot of interest in what happened, and I'd forgotten some of the things. So I'm watching that show and I'm like, oh God, here I am singing weird Christmas carols in the middle. That's just weird.
I did see that,
where
you just see it like Winter Wonderland in like the middle of what, February, April?
Yeah. It was Feb, and it was like 11 o'clock in the morning or just 10:30. But that's just how we carry on in the house. Like I'm a bit extravagant and start breaking into weird songs for no reason. My child likes it, but he's only 4.
Yeah.
My wife could probably do with a little bit less singing.
Well, you sing well. I mean, you're a judge on Idol, so...
Yeah, but I'm not on there for my singing skills. But we've got a record label that we've been running out of here, that we've had that in the background for years. We've made a few TV shows here. There was some podcasts being recorded out of here, but I've just pushed all that to the side to make way for this new app, this platform. So, and we haven't even started yet. The live shows aren't on until August 10, but there's already thousands and thousands lined up there. So we're off to a very good start.
It's exciting.
Yeah. The first one that signed up was exciting. And when they say, another thousand, like, you're like, this is going to be good. Because I said to our guys, whether there's 5,000 or 5 million people listening, we're still going to put the same show together. But we're off to encouraging numbers.
Let's recap, because I know you said that there were moments of the February blow up that you don't remember. It was ultimately the final day of Kyle and Jackie O. You just didn't know it. But, do you remember the day well now after watching all the docuseries?
I remember because the series sort of picks up around the firing time. So there is a little bit of me on the last day at the radio station, but that felt like less of a problem, because normally if Jackie and I have any sort of level of blow up, if I blow up, I leave, or if she blew up, she would leave. That's what would happen, because it's like these, and they were rare over the years, but they did happen. But Jackie didn't leave, so she came back on and everything was fine. And there was that night I sent her a text as I was going to bed. I thought, I haven't heard from her today, so hopefully she's all right, because I was doing the show from home that day, not in the building. So I sent her a note saying, hey, I hope anything I said this morning didn't offend you too much. Sorry, because I knew that they had the little blow up. But I thought it was okay because she came back on and finished the show, so it felt like less of a thing. But I still apologise because that's what we did. If she would do that to me, if she'd annoyed me, that's just, what friends do.
Did she
say sorry about that or sorry about this? It was normal for us.
Yeah. Did she respond to your message after the apology?
Not on the Friday night, on the Sunday afternoon. That was the first message I had from her, and that was quite lengthy, saying that her feelings towards what had happened was, you've not only damaged the work relationship but the personal friendship as well. And I was like, that seems. I thought, that's a bit much. Like, you're obviously still a bit sensitive about it.
Yeah.
Because really, like who else is going to tell you, hey, snap out of whatever bullshit you're going through? Like, she would do that to me too, or she'd be like, hey, you were a bit off somewhere else during that segment. Like, are you all right? And I'd be like, yeah, we would always do this for 27 years. It's just the whole thing still is baffling to me, really. Even the accusations that are in court are like, there's like 30 other people that work around us that are also just as baffled as I am as to where's all this come from, or it's just not a reality.
Yeah.
So, I just hope I don't get called in to court over it.
Well,
it's possible.
The report that came out today saying that you've been the whole affidavit thing for ARN.
Oh, yeah.
Do you think that could further damage?
Well, we said no to that, and Jackie's team said they didn't want that in there, but I think the judge said that he's going to allow it in because it in the spirit that it was given. But the spirit it was given was for me to protect myself, not for me to cause any damage to Jackie's case.
Do you think it might?
Well, I was just telling the truth from the way I saw it, and I'm sure she's telling the truth from the way she saw it. So usually when there's such discrepancies, the truth lays somewhere in the middle. I may be a bit wrong and she may be a bit wrong, and usually the legal process doesn't usually seek out the truth. It usually seeks out, well, in this contract, this word here means this, you win, you lose. It's not really about who's right or wrong. The whole thing's just a big, ugly mess. And a lot of people think, it's really a financially driven decision, not really a bullying or a workplace. It's just a big cluster. But I'm out of that situation, so that's someone else's problem. That's ARN and Jackie's and the court's problem to sort out. I'm glad I'm out of it, really.
Are you worried that you could be subpoenaed to appear among like 11 others? Or 10
it's possible, but I would probably not go unless I was going to go to prison, because I'm not going to go to jail for her, but I would never do anything to disadvantage her if I had the choice.
Are you worried that it could damage your friendship even further? Or is the friendship completely over?
It does appear to be over, but we have been messaging like during this whole time, probably 7 or 8 times backwards and forwards, but never with any details about. I've never said what the hell's going on, and she's never said you did this. It was not. It was more so from both sides out of concern for each other.
Yeah. Like
emotionally, like an overall concern. Like she's, are you okay? It's the last thing I wanted to happen. Hope Tegan's all right. Hope Boto's all right. Feel bad for the team, that sort of stuff. So, but neither of us, we just knew because we were both told legally, she was told and I was told, you can't communicate with each other. But that's not like a law, that's just a strategy. Like at the end of the day, I was the one that broke it first. I thought, that. I've known this woman for nearly 30 years. Some lawyer that I'm paying huge amounts of money to said, don't do it. I'm still going to do it because I just want her to be okay.
Of course.
I don't really understand what's happened. So as confusing as the feelings are, I always err on the side that there's something I don't know, and I'm still going to make sure she's okay.
Yeah. Do you remember have you texted Jackie recently?
Not in the last couple of weeks, no.
No. Do you remember your last message that you sent her?
Yes, I said to her, it was after her evidence came out in court where there was those accusations that I'm a bully and I'm this and whatever that was, which I couldn't even stomach to read the whole of because I was like, it was just so disappointing and inaccurate from where I stood. But I said to her, regardless of what comes up or is said or read out in court, I'm always going to be good with you. So I didn't want her to think that I might turn against her because of this stuff. So
yeah. Did she acknowledge that response?
She did. Oh, sorry, there was one more after that. It was on my birthday. I went for a birthday dinner like in June or something like that. So the birthday. No, that after everything was after the birthday dinner. So I was down in her neck of the woods for my birthday dinner, and she said that she heard that I was there and that, and she thought in her mind that I was going to be there. More woo-woo. Must have been a premonition. And I said, well, when I walked in, I scanned the whole restaurant for her, thinking, is she here? Like my eyes robo-copped around, but she wasn't.
No.
Thank God. That would have been awkward.
With everything that's happened in the past, God, 6 months now, I'd say.
Yeah. Oh my God, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah. It feels literally like yesterday. But
when
you didn't go home because you were already home, but when you logged off after the segment.
Thought nothing.
So you thought absolutely nothing.
Zero.
When the cracks started to form, when you finally realised I could be.
Never thought ever I could be fired for this until the day that I was laying in the bed and Bruno, I'd been suspended. I did a week after that initial Jackie show, I did a week where it was no Jackie, just me. And then I was at home after that week or whatever show that had finished, and Bruno sent me a text saying, I'm on the phone with the CEO. He was trying to cancel the contract. And I thought, whose contract? Because Jackie was the one that wasn't refusing to come back, not me. And he said, yours. And I was sat up and thought, what the are you talking about? I just thought, that's not even possible. How's it? And then when you realise, they haven't made all this money, then there was all this, whatever they were doing in the background with this advertising rates had been for years, and it was all wasn't out in the open. And then you realise, they don't have the money to keep this show going. So why do the deal in the first place?
Yeah. So it was all calculated.
I don't know. There's a lot of assumptions or guesses. But I think because they planned on merging with Channel 7 is what ARN did, and then that imploded. And then Channel 7 ended up merging with the opposition, with the SCA, and then that was the end of that. So I think their whole plan, because SCA offered us that money to go to them first. That's how we got that big deal in the first place. SCA came to us and said, we'll give you $100 million each in 10 years. Come back and work for us again at Today FM. And I was like, I better tell our current bosses, hey, we've been romanced by the ex, is what I said. And they said, well, we'll match it. And I said, well, how about a little bit extra romance, not just matching it? And then we started chatting, and then but I didn't realise they were trying to buy or merge with 7 and take over that SCA, and they were going to keep Triple M and do this whole big swapsy thing. Quite an ambitious plan. If it had worked, it would have been genius, and the company would be worth $2 billion. But it didn't work, and that plan, Channel 7 merged with SCA, and now they're worth $2 billion, and ARN is where it is. And so really, mathematically, I understand why it is what it is. Still doesn't mean that if you enter into an arrangement, into a big deal like that, they should be more transparent with the problems in the background prior to let's just you over and fire you. Yeah. That wasn't a great feeling. But it wasn't the people that I'd done the deal with. They all disappeared, and they brought all these new sort of second grade types from Channel 9 across. And then someone from Channel 9 was now in charge of content for radio. What? Someone from sales at Channel 9 is now the CEO of an audio company. What? You don't know what's going on. So they just swished it away. I suppose they think it's like the Today Show. Put any clown on there and people will still watch it, but that's a different beast is radio. It's like saying, oh, you just change your whole editor and your whole editorial lean on things at the Daily Mail, and people will still they buy into brand loyalty. That's what you want. I go to Daily Mail every single day. It's the first pretty much thing I do when I go in the morning. But if you guys started putting up there that I wasn't interested in, the loyalty disappears very quickly.
Yeah.
So a lot of corporate types forget about the brand loyalty, which is why we're lucky that we've already got people gluing onto our new platform that's out of brand loyalty. Only half of the brand too. So, there's the Jackie part that's gone. Big part of what that brand was. So we're lucky in that way, but it is what it is. It's a new media thing, and a lot of these podcast types, like, he doesn't understand what a podcast is. I say, guess what, fatty? It's not a podcast. It's still a broadcast. It's still live every day. It's not like I'm not going to sit in a shed down in the Sutherland Shire somewhere putting the little podcast together once a week. It's still a live action show every day. You can still podcast it at the end of it. But and those that want to glue on, great, and we'll make sure that those subscribers are rewarded with free cars, free diamonds, holidays. Well, the subscribers will benefit off it with not having to really do that much. Not like radio, we'd have to ring up, match a box to that hoop, and you have to do this. It's a lot simpler process.
Do you think at the end of the day you're like, glad I got out of there?
Well, now knowing what I know, that the arse has fallen out of that sort of medium, and I still listen to the radio. Like, people go, why are you still listening to it? And I was like, well, I built it. I named it. I picked the logo. I picked everything about that station. It still feels like it's mine. It's like saying, why do you still talk to your child since you're not married to the mother anymore? It's not really like that's still my child, and I still listen to it. I tried to listen to Today FM out of spite, and I just couldn't stand listening to it. It was Celine Dion, all this. I was like, please. So I had to go back to Kiss, and I actually still enjoy. I still listen to it, and my friends still work there. So Brooklyn he's already bought it. Ricky Lee's said to me, very clever to put your face on the app, because every time I touch my phone 100 times a day, I'm looking at your face. So that's my face is the app. So all people in the industry are very encouraging, I suppose, which is nice.
And what about if ARN had decided to keep you? Would you have continued doing the show without Jackie?
Well, they did offer me to come back for half the money. And I said no. Yeah. I said no, that's not the deal we made. So
it clearly was a money problem then?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. They said, well, you come back for $5 million a year for 10 years, for the next 9 years. And I said, no, I will not. I said, if it's only me, you're already saving Jackie's. That's your win. And they said, no. And I thought, I'm just not going to do that. That was really early in the piece. And then a billionaire family came to me, and we hatched a plan to buy the whole company, buy all of ARN together.
Yes, I did see the report on that.
So that was really considered, but that was more of a egomaniac-driven situation in my mind. I was like, I would love nothing more than to walk in and go, guess who owns this place? No, but I've got a young child and a wife, and I wasn't going to risk. Because how long's a piece of string? That could have gone on for 6 months and may not have ever happened. I would have had to keep the court case going. We're already like $2 million in the hole for those legal fees in 6 months. Even if I'd won, they would have probably appealed, and that would have been another year and another $2 million. When that starts to add up a lot. I still expect to go up to Noosa on holidays every now and then. I don't want to have to just go down to Wollongong every year for holidays. So, you've got to make the money work one way or another.
Of course.
Not that there's anything wrong with Wollongong, ladies or gentlemen.
Has there ever been a moment where you were genuinely worried about money?
Not since I was like 15.
Yeah.
But there was I sent Bruno a couple of photos, like when I first got fired, because you see the homeless people, little encampments here, and I often stop and speak to those people over the years because I was one of them. So I was living in those encampments. And there's only 2 or 3 of them. It's not like Los Angeles where there's whole streets of them. But I took some photos and I was like, I could always, live here again. Like, I've been there before. And Bruno was like, I don't find, is this like a secret cry for help? And I was like, no. He goes, you can come and live with me. I said, you've got no income either. And he goes, but his wife's still got an income. Yeah. So there was a lot of jovial, but there was never a situation where we were like, oh, what are we going to do? You can still sell houses and still sell cars if things got really desolate, but it was not that. But I had to twist, and the 10-year plan imploded. So I had to twist that and make a few quick adjustments. But people were very good and open to that. I was quite surprised. I thought, dealing with the bank's going to be horrendous, and they're going to be, because I've watched The Current Affair, and everyone's always like, oh, the bank this and the bank couldn't have been more pleasant to deal with. Almost like they were the Red Cross in one state. It was like they just paused things, paused house mortgages and everything. And I was like, I didn't even know that was an option. That's since been re-engaged and it's all back on track. But all these options that I didn't realise were available were all available. So we didn't have to actually engage in any of that sort of stuff. And because I don't do any of that stuff for the last 25 years, Bruno does, and he's bipolar, and he's also going through his own struggles. I never felt, because he's like Rain Man. He's not like running around, licking the walls. He's like a little genius in there, running around just somehow making it all happen. But his wife did tell my wife, while Bruno was telling me that he's fine and everything's good, his wife was telling my wife, oh, by the way, Bruno's projectile vomiting and crying.
Oh my God.
So I had to say, bro, you crying and vomiting? He's like, yeah. I said, oh my God, that breaks my heart. Don't worry about it. So, I can't help it. He was just so concerned.
You've been friends for a very long time too.
Yeah. But the vomiting and crying.
Yeah.
God. And I was just ringing him up sometimes hey man, what are you doing? And he'd be like, oh yeah mate, I'm good. I didn't realise. I didn't realise. I felt bad, but that's what good friends are, he was just trying to give me the pep up. But I was fine. I should have been giving him the pep up. Vomiting and crying.
I know you said you weren't concerned about money too much, but was there ever a moment, you were on a $100 million contract. Mm-hmm. Was there ever a moment where you thought that...
Oh, the new roles is out of the question, is what you're thinking?
No, where money became more than the career. It was...
Well...
Because $100 million is so big.
Listen, when you're trying to put a 10-year plan together and you got $100 million to do it, that's quite the plan you can put together. But it wasn't like extravagant plans that I was putting together. Really, it was these properties need to be taken care of. That needs to be shifted. What are we going to do here? What other shares? I've got other companies as well. I've got a weed company, got a coconut water company, I own an alcohol company. We've got fingers in pies all over the joint. So there's still chunks coming in. So I make a good, decent return from just the coconut water company alone. I could never work again if I wanted to. That thing turned into something that was, I drank it, went, that tastes like ass juice. And my partner said, please never say that again.
You've had ass juice.
I haven't had ass juice. It was what I would imagine ass juice would taste like. And that thing's turned into a $100 million business. So and I've done nothing with that, except for funded it and promoted it for them at the beginning. But that's turned into a huge business. So there was never really that much of a concern, what are we going to do? And as I said, once you've lived under a bridge as a teenage kid, as long as you don't end up there again, you're okay. So I can't imagine me back. Surely my mother-in-law would take me in before I'd end up back under the bridge again. Surely, wouldn't she? The 27 years we've worked together, any argument that we have had has been played as a promo, hey, this is what happened on the show today, fight. That's just what we did. That's the confusing part is we did this every day and it wasn't even that bad. She was off with the fairies and she was not paying attention and she wasn't putting in the big effort that she normally would put in. That was why I was concerned. I'd brought this up with management for months previously here and there if we'd had a particularly bad day where she was disengaged, and their answer to me was, you'll have to deal with it. So, and I'd be like, well, that's going to cause a problem if I have to deal with it, because we have to have this, we have to be free of aggression, you know, to do this show together. And then after months of no one doing anything about anything, then it did get brought up by me, and we all know what happened then. It all went.
Do you regret saying it on air? Like,
Nope.
do you think it could have been worth pulling her aside?
No, I do not. Needed to be said. It was true. And yeah, it's just a shame that everything had to be crushed over someone's bad mood or one particular argument that, you know, two work colleagues have. So many people had to lose their jobs over it. And really, it was a cluster, they call it.
Was there ever a moment leading up into that time, more recently, I suppose, where she said to you directly or even indirectly, you know, to someone, I don't like the way that Kyle's speaking to me, or I don't like the person that he's become?
Never, not once. Not that I'm aware of, and not that anyone's ever brought to my attention. None of the executives on the show, not Bruno, who's the show's director, not the executive producer, not the content director, not to my knowledge. Oh, there was one thing that in hindsight I found out that where she'd complained, where they said they made the complaint, which was really just a text message saying having or like a vent to someone about me, which we were both capable of venting about each other from time to time. And then when they went to follow it up the next day, hey, I'm going to follow it up, that, you know, discussion with our CEO and chairman. She said, oh, no, don't worry. Don't do it, because I sent a witch to Kyle's house last night to exorcise the demon from his brain, so you don't have to follow it up. That's actually what was said, and that's what happened, and that did actually happen. A person did come to my house to exorcise the demon. I went along with it because it was radio content. And apparently in the background, that was a real problem, and then it all went away. So can't wait to see that get brought up in court. I wonder how that'll go down.
Do you think she's happier now that the show's over, that you're not as involved in her life?
A few weeks before the show imploded, we were on the back balcony during an ad break together, and she said, oh, I've finished the podcast with Gemma. I'm not doing it anymore. And I said, oh, how come? And she went, I'm just not doing anything anymore that I don't really want to do in life. And I just wasn't enjoying it, so I'm not doing it anymore. And I was like, oh, okay, good on you, good on you. And then someone calls us out, okay, you've got to come back in 60 seconds. So maybe I was one of those things she wasn't enjoying. Maybe she wasn't enjoying the process. Maybe she wasn't enjoying the content of the show anymore. Maybe she wasn't enjoying the early mornings. I'll just never know. Or one day I might know.
But surely you got to think about it. Like, do you think that maybe there was someone standing in the way, or that someone was potentially getting into her head about all of this?
It's possible someone might have been, because she had a different group of friends that I know, some of those girls or some of those people who they are. They all seem nice. I have met some of Jackie's friends along the way, like on a boat party. I met Pip Edwards, who I'd not met. I knew who she was. And my wife knew who Pip was, because back in the day I think they used to go clubbing together, and then Pip would stroke Tegan's hair while she was half unconscious in her lap. You know, early 90s or 2000s.
Party days.
Yeah, party days. So, and Pip, when I met Pip, she was lovely. She was like, oh my God, I've always wanted to meet you, big hug, blah, 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 blah. And she seems okay, nice, and I don't really know her. But I used to call them the pajama squad, because, you know, they all get around in pajamas, you know, the matching things. So surely that's not what's ruined it. We called her friends the pajama squad. And the woo-woo crew. So, you know, they're all about like looking fabulous and wearing crop tops and, you know, and putting your crystals out when the moon's full, and that's fine. And I'm not even that against woo-woo. I don't give a But whether any of them were in her ear, I really have no idea. I know that she dated a couple of blokes here and there that no one really knows about, but I did give her my opinion on those particular people, and then they ended anyway, as predicted by me. But, you know, you never know. Someone can get in your ear. People get in their ear all the time. Oh, I think this, you should be doing this. Oh, why do you let this happen? They don't really understand the way radio works. But it has happened before where staff members someone's got in their ear and they've changed personalities before, or they've adjusted themselves where you think, hang on, we're doing like a sitcom here, this show. Like it's a lot of us, obviously it's real, but we like hype up like 20% of our personality. And sometimes I may not have an opinion on something, but I'm still expected to speak and say something or contribute in some way, shape or form to whatever's being said, even if it's I don't care about, howling at the moon and rocks and, and all this sort of rubbish and crystals. I'm still going to engage in it, but my engagement's going to be, this is pretty rubbish, isn't it? Because that's what a lot of people that would be listening would think. And then other people like Jackie or some of the other cast that are into that, like it's still having my say and their say, but still getting the general context of what they're trying to communicate together. But I'm not going to pretend as if I'm into it.
Yeah. Like
some other radio shows, they'll all pretend, but it's a bit phony. So we've never really been like that.
Yeah.
And maybe she was annoyed and didn't want to say anything, or I just don't know. Someone did say to me ages ago that, every relationship starts off nice and cute and at the end you just can't stand looking at each other. Mm. That's true. Maybe that's what it is.
So
maybe it's like every relationship we've ever had. At the end they go, this guy off.
In terms of the pill addiction that she was going through years ago, I know you feel this kind of, I guess, resentment is like, why didn't I pick up on the signs and that sort of thing? But
I felt guilty as a friend that I didn't notice it.
But do you feel at the same time, like when you found out, because you kind of found out at the same time as everybody else.
Yeah. When she came back, cured.
Yeah. Did you feel a bit blindsided that,
I felt
she didn't tell you?
Incredibly sad that and I think a lot of people do feel this, is when someone they're close to goes through something that, and you think, how could I not have known? Like, it's not really about you or what you didn't see or what you didn't do. It's more about like making sure that they're okay moving forward, or if there's anything you can do, your behaviour to adjust, so they don't go through that again. That's what it was like. It was because she's like a sister to me. It's never been a romantic thing. I said back in the early days, off over 1,000 times. That's probably an exaggeration, but that was just part of the carniness of the early days. But to me, she is like a sister. And people bust up and have family arguments all the time. But I'll always make sure she's supported. And I just always hope, for the best for her in whatever she does or doesn't do. Whether she comes back here, which is highly unlikely, but on offer, or goes off and does whatever. Do
you think that if she was here today, that she would say that there's something that you've never apologised for?
If I know, possibly. But there's nothing that I wouldn't apologise for. If I knew of anything that was particularly that I'd done or said or of course you'd apologise, because you never want to cause anyone any grief on purpose, ever. Especially when you thought what you were doing was A-OK no matter what she said to me, she said horrific things, all true, but it's part of the act that we were doing. So I just always thought that we had this, the same sort of to and fro for each other, we'd always look after each other. She said great things about me in her book, which I never read, but many people told me. Maybe it was because I never read the book. Surely not. She's not going to blow up everyone's world because I didn't read one book.
Did you read part of it?
No, none of it. She read out some bits to me that were nice. My mum said that she wrote glowing things and very nice things about me. But I didn't even read my own book. So I already lived that life, so it didn't bother.
You're not much of a reader?
Not really, no. I do like videos and TV shows, though.
Well, stay tuned for this one.
Yeah, no, I'll
You'll be watching this one?
I'll probably watch this one.
Did you notice a potential personality shift, or did you think that something more ominous she may have been dealing with something more ominous behind the scenes that you don't know about?
Well, since she had that pill problem, and I'm so annoyed at myself that you could sit across from someone for 4 hours every day and not realise they were in such a tormented situation. I know people have said people that do that, they get very good at hiding it, and it's not on anyone except for that person that went through it. And I don't know whether maybe I was paying too much attention, not enough attention. but there was no sign of anything. There was no real sign that there was, because if she'd have said to me at any stage, as I would to her, hey, don't do that. I don't want to discuss it, but that's out of bounds. It just would have been, without discussion, snipped out of the conversation. No problem. That happened regularly all the time. When she was going through the dating periods, someone would show up in the paper and I'd go, I'm going to talk about this guy. And she'd be like, no, that was like 2 guys ago. And I'm like, what do you mean 2 guys ago? And she's like, that was weeks ago. And it's too messy and there's more things. And I'd be like, well, forget it. We won't talk about it. There was no fear of I can't do this from either of us. That's why the whole thing's so bizarre. I can't land on what's happened because everything's so jagged and unanswered. So I just had to sort of shelve it and deal with it later when and if that day ever comes along, because I've got to keep working, keep moving forward, and got these other people. I'm now responsible for their jobs personally, which makes it a little bit different. So I just can't sort of wallow in that. What if, and I don't know. You just can't wallow in there. Otherwise you just get stuck and you can't move forward.
Yeah. Given that Jackie's no longer working at the moment, do you have any concerns that she may fall back into a darker habit or potentially relapse?
I've not thought that actually, but yeah. See, this is where I go wrong. I take on surface value what people give, but because I haven't seen her, but I only ever see her going off to the sound baths or something like that. So I don't think if you're hard on the pills, you're also doing the sound bath. So I'm just assuming she looks good, she looks well. I have no idea what she's up to or what she's doing. I don't think she would relapse. I just, not that I would have ever expected ever that would have happened in the first place. But I think when that was happening, she was maybe juggling different processes, and she's done a lot of therapy and stuff now too. So that might be even questionable, the therapy. So yeah, I don't know where she's at or what she's doing, but it's not something I would have thought about. I think that by looking at her, she doesn't look like she's anywhere near that, but then it's hard to tell who's doing what, isn't it?
What about Gemma?
What about her?
Well, what do you think of her as Jackie's friend and Jackie's manager?
Well, I've known Gemma for as long as Jackie has, but we've got to go right back to the year 2000 at Today FM, where Gemma was in her school uniform at 3:30 in the afternoon. She was the afternoon switch girl at the reception. So Jackie and I would come in to do the Hot 30 and Gemma was there. She'd be like, hey. We didn't really know her. And then for a year or something, a few years later, she was executive producer of the radio show. Back then, it was like a work situation, but no one was hanging out with each other. So we knew her. She was always around. But when Jackie said a few years ago that they were best friends for 20 years, I was like, well, you've known her for 20 years, but I didn't even know you were friendly, let alone best friends.
Yeah.
And that's when Gemma rescued Jackie from this pill thing. And I was like, she had saved her life according to Jackie and everything. And I was like, wow, that's, I understand why the friendship was glued in that sort of, that bond. Jackie went to Gemma for some reason, who was the opposition's content director at the time when all this happened. And then she got the ask from that and then somehow became Jackie's manager. And then there was a falsehood out there that Gemma had done the deal for both Jackie and I, which couldn't be further from the truth. Bruno and I and our litigator did that deal and had it signed, sealed and delivered a week before they offered Jackie's deal to her, and she'd pretty much got a mirror image of what I did with a few lesser benefits because Gemma wasn't that great at the taxi side or whatever, whoever put their together. And you didn't. And one of the things was when we were fired, you noticed that Jackie was fired straight away, and I at least had 2 weeks to try and fight it. So there was just some of the differences in the contracts. But Gemma did not do anything to do with my contract. It was mainly Jackie's, but mainly it was, and it's always been like this for 27 years. I paid the legals for the contracts to be done, and Jackie would just get a mirror image of it, because I was always about the equal pay.
Yeah.
She put in the same effort that I did. We're presenting it together, and that's how it should have been. And really, when I met her, like that, she was the star and I was just a no one from the bush. She'd already been on the air doing it for years. And then I remember they offered me $250,000, and to me that was like the lotto. And I was like, oh my God, you and Ugly Phil must have earned $500,000 together, because they've offered me $250,000. She went, I don't know. That's what they used to pay Phil, but I'm only on $80,000. And I was like, didn't compute. So I went back to the general manager and said, we should be on the same money here. I don't like the, cut mine, make it even. And the general manager was Kathy O'Connor at the time, great executive. She's at Nova, I think now, or somewhere else. And she was like, no, you keep that money, but I will. You're right, Jackie should be paid more. And I think Jackie was maybe being romanced by Nova at the same time. Anyway, we ended up having the same money, but I did that. I paid the legals for that every year, but that was never a problem. I never said to her, well, you've never paid a cent. I never asked her to pay anything, but, I wanted to make sure that I was going to be legally sorted out. And, and that culminated over all those years to that big contract, and, it still wasn't quite iron-proof, because the only thing you could get fired for was gross misconduct. And I've said before, I thought that was fiddling with someone inappropriately in the office. That's what I thought. But apparently it's this huge plethora of different things, whatever they say it is. So even if you think you're safe, you're not really safe. Whether you do the right thing, you don't do the right thing, if people want to get you, they're going to get you one way or another.
Of course.
But never mind. We've worked around that. We've refocused, and we're moving on to something different.
Can I circle back to Gemma really quick? I just want to know, because Jackie made out that, she said that their friendship spanned over 20 years.
Yes, I was just as surprised as you were to hear that. I've known Gemma for 20 years as well, but I don't know her. Gemma and her husband, 20 years ago, were over at my place swimming in the pool one day, but I don't know her. You know of them, but I'm not here to say whether Jackie's friendship was stronger than mine with her or not, but it was surprising to me that it was claimed to be such a solid 20-year friendship when really we all know that they barely knew each other until the last couple of years.
Yeah. So when was the moment that you started to see the friendship was forming? Or did you just never really consider it a friendship at all?
I was taken back when I was told, we've been best friends for 20 years. And I thought, well, that's complete bullshit. And then I was like, well, that's not. She, yes, it is. And I was like, oh. It was almost like dealing with someone with a personality, complete different personality. I was like, well, I know that what you know. It was, but I'm not going to be confrontational every time something seems weird to me. Most things I don't care about. If she wants people to think that they've known each other and they've been Laverne and Shirley for 20 years, good on them. But it doesn't mean anything to me, but it was odd to me, and odd to Bruno, and odd to many other people that knew that that's not quite really the story. It was very weird, actually.
It does seem strange. Because from, someone that's listened to the Kyle and Jackie little claim, someone that's listened to the show for some time and followed you guys.
You've never heard her name, ever?
Not for 2 years ago.
Yeah, exactly. That's right. But
when
we'd
the
known who
Bestie
she was. Yeah, when the Bestie started. And maybe it was a thing. Maybe because Jackie did think that she went to Gemma for that pill problem, and she thinks Gemma saved her life. And she might have. That's possible. I'm not saying that that's not true. But the weird part was to hear, we've been best friends for 20 years. I was like, you've barely known her for 20 years.
Do you think that's a bit of an insult to Jackie's past friends, that she has been friends with for 20 years?
Not really, unless this was all part of a thing for the Besties thing to be, or maybe it's she's never had a friend like her and she's known her for 20 years, but the friendship's really strong at the end. Who am I to say? But I was odded out by the claim. But, who am I? I don't know everyone Jackie's texted and spoken to over the years, but I was quite surprised because I'd never heard her name ever.
That's why I wanted to ask, though, if there was someone maybe behind the scenes that has infiltrated the breakdown of the show and your friendship.
Those girls are like, a lot of those girls are a bit woo-woo and like, you know, we're women together and together we'll, you know, and I'm all for that, you know, like nothing wrong with that, but not at the detriment of something that people have spent decades cultivating, and like that was the golden goose for her. Anything else apart from that, like I was even annoyed a little bit, not enough to say anything, but when someone from management would say to me, Jackie's talking about all of this very personal stuff on the podcast, but we're paying her $10 million a year to talk about that on the radio. What the is going on? And I'll be like, what do you want me to do about it? I don't hear what's on the podcast. They're like, she's talking about this and she's talking about that. We're paying her a lot of money. She should be like, there was a problem from the radio station management about that, but I'm not going to engage in fixing their problem. Like, would I have liked her to have saved all that? Yes, but I also understand that she was doing a new thing. Oh, hello, Alfie. Oh, thank you, mate. How nice of you to pass it through third person. But it was one of those things like a lot of the management looked at me. They were like, well, what are you going to do about it? Like, I'm the other presenter. I don't want to have to bring up these, what could be a prickly situation with her if I don't have to.
Do you think there was always a bit of tiptoeing around both?
No.
Management? Well, not between you two.
Well, management do say that they tiptoe around, but they tiptoe around their lies. They would lie to us a little bit, which we found out from time to time. Like one of the lies, which I was furious about with the management, was to do with Bunnings. So I'd bring up, I was playing some dance song of Bunnings. I think someone was going to perform, like Peking Duck or someone was going to do something at Bunnings, and there was this Bunnings, some
the Bunnings
song,
rave.
something like, yes. So I was playing bits and pieces of that, and the program director came to me and he goes, oh, mate, can you not play that Bunnings thing? And I was like, why not? And he goes, oh, because we're trying to get their money for ads, but they're saying, why spend the money with Kyle and Jackie when they keep playing that song? We'll just spend the money with Nova so we get both. And I was like, seems like a pretty stupid thing to say or do. But I said, no problem. Only to find out 4 weeks later that the truth was Bunnings were being attacked by the Mad Witches because we were bringing Bunnings up and talking about this rave. No, they weren't paying for it.
It wasn't paid.
It wasn't paid, but they were being attacked. And Bunnings reached out to the radio station manager and said, please stop them talking about us because we're being attacked by this activist group. So they lied to me about it.
But why didn't they just tell you, though, that it had to do...
weird. We're not really that hard to get along with.
Yeah.
People say that we work with, oh, we were heard for years and years that you were like this and you could fly off the handle. There's no flying off the handle. It's all just open and honest. Like I'm commercially understand how things work. And you know, I might fly off the handle on the radio, but a lot of that's the carny operator, like, these kids, blah, blah. But in the boardroom, like, you know, we're all here to make business. We're all here to make money. I don't want anyone to lose their jobs. That's really not how it is behind the scenes. And people that we've worked with for years and years, like the guy running here, a lot of this stuff is like a guy that used to work at Sony Music for 20 years. Bruno, I've worked with him for like, you know, nearly 15 years. And there's different people here, there and everywhere that they just keep coming back. Max has come back from America that I worked with here 30 years ago when I first arrived in Sydney. But she's a great person. She's a fun human being. I really don't know. Maybe she just was over the show. I did hear through one of the staff just before the blow up, which is a little clue if you're like a Noddy the pet detective, that she was not into the boys' club. And I thought, the boys' club, this whole show is run by homosexuals and women. Like, where the is the boys' club? But there was a boys' club mentality, but I don't know where she thought that was. Because there's all women and gay men running the joint.
Because was it top heavy with men at the time? Because now it's all, you know, as you said, the former 9 bosses.
Oh, no, I don't know what she was. I never get on with those 9 people. I never even had one meeting with any of them. Oh, the CEO, we went to some cafe together, and the new content chief never met with her, not once. I think she was there for 3 months, but a few like, hey, going in the hallways, but that's it.
So when you went to lunch, what went down? Was it...
There was a discussion about the activists, the left-wing mental activist group, the Mad Witches.
Oh, yeah.
And because they'd been attacking our clients for about 2 years. And then I said to him, is there nothing you can do to these people? Like, they're a non-for-profit. They're really 3 grannies in regional New South Wales writing lies to clients and underwritten by the government for being tax-free. I was like, can't you do anything about these people? And his answer was, no, there's nothing we can do. And I said, well, maybe I'll get my lawyers onto it because it just feels wrong to me. And I just can't believe there's nothing that can be done.
Yeah.
Like lying, saying I'm a this, I'm a that, I'm an anti-this, I'm an anti... All lies, all complete made-up slants, for them to raise money selling this hate of me. And he said, no, please don't get your lawyers involved. We're doing it. It's just better if it comes from one place. And then that's a big lesson that I learned. When he was getting his lawyers to make sure that the company was okay, not necessarily looking after me. It was very foolish of me to think, in hindsight, that he was protecting me, who I thought was their star asset at the time. So that was a mistake I won't make again. I won't leave my legal fortunes in the hands of others who are actually not got my fortunes in the best of intentions.
Do you think it was bizarre, though, that the advertisers were so heavily influenced by what they were saying about you and about the show?
I did at first, but then when I realised it's probably a 23-year-old girl, coordinator at an agency being bombarded by hate emails by 3 or 4 people that look like thousands, and it's just easier to avoid us. If you're 23 and you're in an agency, I just won't spend, I'll just spend it on Nova and something else. I understand the mentality of you can't expect all these people to go to battle for you and up their day and deal with all this hate if they can just not deal with it. So it's human nature to avoid potential problems. But we've also had a lot of clients come forward to this new platform and say, I know you're not playing any commercials at all, but how can we commercially be involved? And which was a huge surprise. I'm in chemist chains, I'm in new cars, electric vehicles, soft drink companies, all sorts of different clients. So we will be able to put a commercial aspect into the new platform, but that will be through, it might be an electrical, it might be winning appliances or appliances online. We might give away, products from them. But there'll never be a commercial on this new platform because you're paying not to have the commercials and not to have the annoying beeping that goes on. So if I call someone you hear it.
You won't hear it on this one.
You won't hear it here. So you have to listen to this. You might be able to, they'll probably put a beep. Yeah.
Does Jackie know of any secrets or skeletons in your closet that you're worried about getting out?
That I'm worried about getting out? No. She probably knows the celebrity sex list over the years, but I'm not worried about that getting out. Not now that I'm old. No, not that she would ever do that, but we don't have anything on each other either, I know this about you, or you know that this about me. So I'm usually pretty open with, yeah, she had a pill addiction. Yeah, I blasted tons of cocaine throughout my career. Whatever, I've still got my nose, lucky. But there's nothing there that I'd be ever concerned that would come out. No, I'm pretty much an open book.
You mentioned previously that Tegan and Jackie don't have each other's contact details. Do you find it, they're not as close. Do you find it strange?
Well, they had communicated before, but the new types, they all communicate on social media. When I say something about their phone number, people go, you just give the Insta or whatever. I don't even have an Instagram. So it's not... They wouldn't communicate hey, babe, how are you going? But Jackie would come over to see Otto. She's the godmother for birthdays and stuff like that. So it's not as if they didn't get on. They totally got on. They just were completely different lives. And I've known Jackie for 27 years. I've known Tegan for 10. So their paths just never crossed unless we were all together. And it wasn't they didn't get on with each other sort of thing. It was just if they communicated, it was through socials in this new modern era.
Well, and what about that now? You said that Jackie's Otto's godmother and you're Kitty's godfather?
Well, I think I was only given Kitty's godfather gauntlet because she had no godfather for the first 13 years. And eventually she must have thought, we'll just give it to him. I don't think it's not something that we're not going to take it away from. Is that what you're asking? Like,
no, but
you're going to pull the rug out. You're going to pull the Godmother rug from. No, like it's really just a title that you want to give your child. If we died in a car accident, who'd look after the child? My gangster friends, or would I put him with Jackie? I'm probably still going to go with Jackie.
Yeah. But do you find that if you weren't in a car accident or died in a car accident, that Otto will have to grow up...
Godmotherless?
Well, no, not godmotherless, but how do you navigate telling him how everything unfolded and how it all happened and knowing that he isn't probably going to see her?
I'll probably never say anything to him. I'll let him find out, like all kids find out about their parents' skeletons, doing deep dives on Google in the future. Who's Jackie? He'll say, don't mention that name to me again, I'll say. No, there's none of that. He's too small to even understand. So if Jackie showed up today, he wouldn't even probably know who she was.
Really? Oh, my God.
How's that?
Can we keep that in?
So I'd normally do this at home and then I'd blow it in my wife's direction, but I don't do that to you. Sorry, ladies, gentlemen.
No, it's fine. I do it all the time.
Actually,
I turned down a Coke Zero
Drop
from
one
Josh.
out. I'd say you didn't do that.
I turned down a Coke Zero before because I was worried I was going to burp on Mike. I know, we should have had a burp off. Do you think you'll miss Kitty then?
Kitty's always, it's been delightful to watch her grow up, but then I wasn't in her life either a lot. So in the early days, Jackie and I, like when my first wife, we were all together because she knew my first wife before I did, and we were all like quite friendly. And then as the years drifted on, and then Jackie got divorced, and her child grew up, and then I was still a bit wild and woolly out there, you know, slaying and doing this and flying here and being a badass. And, you know, then the whole badassness stopped like 5 years ago. And when my now wife got pregnant, and then I had the brain aneurysms, and I was like, oh, maybe I shouldn't do all that cocaine with the brain aneurysm. Oh, maybe it'd be nice to stay alive for your own child. My life priorities changed and shifted greatly. And so I was going into fatherhood when Jackie was actually going through her wild years, the pills, the boys. So I still love and adored her, but we weren't really in the same circles. She was with the woo-woo crew, all the single girls, what's up on the yachts, and what's up, look at us now, Fendi. And I was at home with a bit of vomit, you know, and the dogs pissing inside, you know, that life.
How is
different life?
We got an update with the brain aneurysm.
Actually, on Wednesday on my schedule, it says I've got to go to the cardiovascular surgeon because I've got another aneurysm in my chest as well. So they've got to monitor that one, and then in a couple of months' time they go and they have to go through that whole scan process again to see if it's grown.
Do they need to operate?
They can't really operate on the one on the head because it's attached to multiple blood vessels. So the normal thing they can do with keyhole they can't do. If they wanted to get in there, it's behind my right eye. So they said they would have to cut all the way down this side like a massive scar. Now I'm already dealing with this. So imagine with the Frankenstein as well.
Gnarly
and I thought,
scar.
I'd rather die than have that big
staples
scarry.
in the head.
Yeah, and I was like, can't they go in through the hairline? They're like, no. And they have to like pop your skull out and get in there. And I was like, you know, let's just see if it grows first.
Yeah.
Because like getting around like how much can one wife bear?
But it's more concerning the one in your chest. Is that more threatening?
I'm never concerned with any of them. The only thing that annoyed me is that they said you can't do cocaine anymore. And I was like, well, I quite liked doing that. But I haven't missed it at all. And you don't really want to be doing cocaine and raising a child at the same time. So all of that went out the window, and this life's just better. And then since I've been off the radio, believe it or not, I'm still like a meaty guy, but I've lost I was telling everyone I'd lost 18 kilos, but it's now more like 11 because I had a little bit of a swell up in the last week. That's
just water retention.
No, I don't think it is. Because my wife found a bucket of connoisseur ice cream beside the bed and she lifted it up. This morning, this was. And she goes, what's this? And I said, oh, it was only half full. And she goes, yeah, but you ate the other half the night before. And I went, yeah. She goes, babe, threw it in the bin. So I need gentle reminding. But I've been through a tough time. If you can't have ice cream during this, when can you have some?
You only live once as well. Given everything that's going on.
Why bring that up? I've got the aneurysm and the chest. Not really worried about it. These could have been in me for 30 years. Last time we had them checked, they hadn't grown. So that's the good bit. If they keep growing, that's a big problem. So they could have been in there for 30 years. Because I've had high blood pressure my whole life, but only been medicated like the last 8 years. So I think that was probably partying, being fat, just being a silly scallywag and yahooing around and, sometimes staying up for 4 days.
So you mentioned that you've changed your physical lifestyle in a way. You've quit the drugs.
Well, most of them.
Yeah.
The illegal ones.
What about money, financial lifestyle? Have you scaled back on that a little bit?
Not really.
Especially after this?
No. So I renovated the house and it was ready for sale just before the firing out of Glenorrey. That I really liked that.
Is that
house.
that Graceland one?
Yeah,
or is it,
yeah. I wanted to live there. My wife said we're never living there, too far away from her parents and everyone, all of her family. And then I was living in an expensive rental on the harbour, and we'd bought a house up the road maybe 2 years ago for $14 million, and that needed renovating because it was a hole. And then I got fired, and my wife was like, "We should get out of this rental and we should move into our own house." And then I went up there, and it was like no one could live in there. It was so
that desolate looking one.
Yes, it said Kyle's Ghost Mansion, and I looked at that, and it looked like there was a swamp in the backyard. So I got our builders and went, "Get in there and get this joint." It was like cigarette packet green was the colour of the house, and all these stains running down the side, and the pool was like a swamp. So anyway, we hit the builders in there, and within 6 weeks they'd renovated it from top to bottom.
Wow.
Sanded floors, ripped walls out, painted things, fixed the pools, new roof on it, whole new painting inside and out. And then we moved in there. And then I really love it up there. It's nice.
Nice.
Yeah.
So far, so good.
So far, so good. And then we'd finished the renovations in our house up at Copacabana. So it was like, Tegan was like, "Should we pump the brakes on some of these renovations?" I'm like, no. We've still got... So I own other companies, plus, I haven't spent every cent on waste since I've been earning money. And I've been in Sydney, been earning in the millions for 27 years. Like, if you can't squirrel a bit away, something's wrong with you. Even when the whole meltdown happened with the Jackie and I thing, it does make you think, like, is it me? Like you start thinking about, I had a breakdown with my mother when I was a teenager, like broken down the first marriage and multiple girlfriends over the years. And, like, do I need to learn something here? It's like when that Me Too thing came out, like, I don't know about a lot of other men, but I was thinking to myself, at the beginning you think, oh, what's all this? And then you hear some stories and you think, oh, I do understand how someone could feel like, petrified or didn't want to say anything or couldn't say no. When you listen more and you realise, like, you start asking yourself, like, is there anything I could do better as a man to a woman? Like, I've got sisters, I've got important women in my life, friendships, staff. You want to make sure that you and never doing that thing that's the Gronk thing, like making someone feel inferior or... And people might think that I do that because of the radio show or I belittle people or whatever, but this is done as a humorous group of people that are all there, all being paid to not put on a play because it's very real life. But it does make, over the years I have thought, oh, this, that, the other thing, like you wonder, could I have done something better? Could I have done something different? So you do sort of take stock of yourself over the years. I always have.
I mean, we kind of did brush on it, but how is Otto going?
Oh, he wouldn't have a clue that any of this is going on. He just cares about the Hot Wheels cars and his little girlfriends. That's all he cares about.
Would it be a nice feeling if Otto followed in your footsteps in radio?
Of course. I think every father would love their child, but I'm not going to be that dad that you must live out my dream, not your own dream. But my dad's dream, strangely enough, he was never on the radio, but my dad loved the radio, and he loved this guy in Brisbane called Wayne Pooh Roberts. It's the poo in the morning. I remember when I was little. So Wayne Pooh was the greatest thing that could ever happen, according to my dad. Shh, he'd say if Wayne Pooh was on, shh, quiet. I was always being shushed. And then Wayne Pooh came to our house one day to give away something or other, and my dad never stopped talking about Wayne Pooh. So I don't know whether that was a weird thing to get my dad's attention that I did this. But Otto was surprised the other day because he was like, Daddy's on the paper and the Daddy's on the TV. And And his mum had said to him, do you know why your dad's on TV? And he said, he's like Dougie, which is some cartoon bear.
Any more kids?
Well, we've talked about the more kids, but we've decided no. And it's mainly because of my old age. So, yeah, but we did want to have 2 at the beginning, but I was like, oh, now I know why everyone has their kids in their 20s, because I'm 55 and I'm exhausted. And I love every minute of it, but we love it when, like, imagine having 2 and 1 sick. Oh, you never get any peace. His mother and I were in bed at 7:30 p.m. It's just ridiculous. We're eating dinner at 4:30.
There's a chair that you're saving for Jackie if she ever comes back.
Yeah. I said early in the piece, when we're setting the studio design up, there'll be a lounge for the guests. I'll be behind the normal radio panel desk, but I want that extra chair there. If Jackie ever wants to come in as a guest, as a permanent, if she never comes in, the chair's always going to be there. Because I just don't feel it's the last time we'll speak.
So you're hopeful that things will patch up?
Will we ever do a show together? I don't know. That's totally up to her. I would do it. We once said to each other we'd never do a show with anyone else, which I've kept true. Like, we haven't got a co-host. Like, there's an ensemble cast, but it's not as if, we've brought in like a new and improved Jackie. So it's a different format. But there's always a seat for her.
If there was a conversation you could have with anyone before all of this fell apart, or actually during, who would it be with? Would it be with Jackie or someone else? And what would you say?
It was hard to not talk to Jackie because, like, normally we would have sorted out any issue. Don't forget, Jackie and I owned the show together.
Yeah.
And we sort of did a licensing deal to the radio network to take our product. We weren't employees. And when you own a business, it's like if we owned a cleaning service that cleaned the radio station and her and I had an argument, I wouldn't expect the radio station to be settling the argument. We're just contractors cleaning or watering the plants or providing the show or, whatever else that you might get contractors to do. So that's why it was all a bit weird in the beginning. But Russell Crowe was the one that was on the phone to me early in the piece. Mate, just pick up the phone and sort it out. And I said, I don't think I can because we're not allowed to speak. And he goes, according to who? He said, like, they're not the FBI. He said, pick up the phone and...
No one's going to know.
Yeah, and sort it out. And I didn't want, because of what she'd said that she'd felt like, I didn't want to bombard her with phone calls that weren't answered because I thought that might be adding fuel to the fire. Like, if she felt worried or didn't want to engage in any way, I had to respect that. But so I just decided to do the texting, and then we text backwards and forwards a few times. So, but as I said, not a lot of explanation in that, more of a care situation. But Russell was good. So multiple times he'd called me. So what's happening now? What are you doing? What are you going to do about it? Which was great because I've known Russell for 25 years and he's always great for advice. So if there's an actor going overseas, he's like, come here, mate. You need to do this, you need to do this.
You do a very good impersonation of
but
it as well.
And he's great, and people lap it up, these young actors, Hemsworth and all these, he sort of paved the way, tell them, watch out for this clown and do this and blah, blah, and be real to yourself. So it's surprising who comes out of the woodwork when you need them to. Even the Prime Minister called on budget day. So, wow. And he was like, I've done the rounds of everybody. And I was laying in bed in my undies with a sleep apnea mask on when he rang. And you hold your phone up, it says elbow. You're like, pretty much I should take elbows.
I'll take
if it was mum, I'd be like, maybe I'll ring you back in an hour. But everyone was nice. The Premier called, Pauline Hanson called, like people that I didn't think, well, like if something had happened to Pauline Hanson, I probably wouldn't have rung her and said, hey, how are you doing? But it was weird, the people that came out of the woodwork, really.
Yeah.
But nice. Obviously your own friends too. I was having friends showing up, do you need money? Like, I'll give you $1 million now. And I was like, no, thank you.
Can you name who any of those people?
No, I won't name who they are. But But they're friends that some are known and some are unknown, but multiple people came forward, and I was like, I've earned a lot of money for a long time. Like we're safe. Even my mum thought we might need grocery money at one stage, and I was like,
really?
bless mum, but we don't need grocery money.
Not for
we're
Harris
okay.
Farm.
Yeah, we're okay. We're okay. Yeah, that's right.
And what about Tegan? How is she through it all? Because obviously
she's been great, really.
Yeah.
Because she's very engaged with our child. Like our kids are like at preschool or whatever 3 days a week. But he's very active. Like that's why people have kids in their 20s, not in their 50s, because like they're a lot, and I love them. You want to be there for everything. But she's been great. She was a bit concerned that I wasn't that I didn't seem like really flat and melancholy. She was like, "Are you all right? Are you putting on a brave face here?" And I said, "Look," she goes, "You actually seem excited," when I was dealing with the court stuff. And I said, "Oh, I am actually excited about it." I said, "I don't really go through the sads. I just keep moving forward. It's just something I've always done." And I was excited dealing with the court stuff because it was like a challenge and although it was exhausting and emotionally a bit damaging when their lawyers would say, "Oh, he's going from the penthouse to the house," and I'd be like, "Who are these clowns? Who are these people to speak?
Yeah,
who are these imbeciles? These other lawyers?" But that was all just part of that Boston legal type TVs. There was all that strategy and dissing someone and saying that and threatening someone. And at one stage, they tried to go through the court to say that they wanted proof from me that if I lost, I could pay their legal expenses. And I was like, okay. So I present the proof and I go, "Now you show me the proof," which my lawyer was like genius because they had no cash. I was like, "Now you show me that you can provide the $80 million if you lose." And they were like, oh. So it was a lot of drama going on, but there were little joys I was taking, like more of a strategic chess game behind the scenes situation. Which I probably shouldn't have found exciting, but I do find those righteousness. I like to be right. Would I have fought to the death if it was just me? Probably. But when you've got a family and a child and more than just what you think at stake, then I made the moves that I made because, I did want to get back to work, did want to do the new show. Once I'd put that little plan together, I had to just manoeuvre the situation to pay out quick. And I do remember one journalist, a vicious journalist in another masthead.
Thank God it wasn't me.
Said, no, not you, had said, he only got a measly 12 million. And I thought, that's more than you'll get in your entire lifetime. Measly 12 million. It was just, that's the sort of person that always just writes nasty stuff, always with a flair of a nasty tongue about every article that she writes. But then you don't really bathe in the nice positive articles. You use the thing that the one nasty comment that someone says on a website or an app, that sort of sticks out to you and you think, well, forget about the 7,000 nice things. What about that one person who's like, "No, but you're still fat." You're like, "Yeah, they're right, I'm still fat." So, but there's weird things get to you, but that they shouldn't get to you. But that's happened my whole life. So it's not something that weighs down heavily. I just get agitated when I see something that's a bit inaccurate or unnecessarily nasty and just think, well, that person's just a poisonous person. So you move on, you move up.
I mean, everyone thinks like that though. Everyone always takes in the negatives over the positives. Yes,
of course.
So it's
normal. It's normal behaviour.
Yeah. I mean, we had in our first episode.
Can you just make this look like a water with the AI or does it look like a soft drink?
There's no product placement either, so it's not on the camera.
It's going to have to get wobbled down.
Well, Kyle Sandilands, thank you so much.
That's it.
Again. It's been wonderful.
Thanks. Nice to see you again. It's been a pleasure. I appreciate it. Thanks for your time.
The Daily Mail contacted both ARN and Gemma O'Neill for comment, but at the time this video was published, neither had responded. Thanks so much for watching. New episodes of The Debrief drop weekly, so be sure to come back for more. And don't forget to subscribe to Daily Mail's entertainment YouTube channel, where we catch up with Hollywood's biggest stars, chat to your favourite reality TV personalities, and bring you all the latest entertainment news and gossip. See you next week.